This is your host, Brittany, and welcome back to the PCAT and Pre-Pharmacy podcast. Today on the show, I will be joined by Mr. Sultan Farabee, the Recruitment and Student Affairs Coordinator for Chicago State University College of Pharmacy. But before we get into the show, I want to remind you to check out crackthepcat.com for all of your PCAT study needs. If you are a visual learner and always on the go like myself, you will appreciate the video explanations, the guaranteed comprehensive analysis, and the capability to access your study material anywhere. So again, the website is crackthepcat.com, and let's get on with the show. Okay, thank you, Mr. Farabee, for being with us. Can you give us a little bit more info about yourself?
Okay, my background, been with the College of Pharmacy since 2009. Prior to that, I served as the undergrad advisor and assistant director for pre-medical education for the university over on the undergrad side. So that's pretty much my background. I've been at the university for about 19 years.
Okay, and can you give us a little information about the Chicago State Pharmacy Program?
Mm-hmm. The pharmacy program opened its doors in 2008. We admitted our first students into our program. At the time, our program was considered in a pre-candidate stage. There are 3 stages that you move into prior to get your accreditation for a pharmacy program. There's a pre-candidate stage. When the students begin the program, you move into candidate stage. 2008 is when we moved to the candidate stage. Those students graduated in 2012. They were awarded the PharmD degree in May of 2012. The very next month, in June 2012, we moved from candidate stage to fully accredited. And so we've been accredited since 2012, excuse me.
Okay. And how long is your program?
We're a traditional 4-year pharmacy program. Students come in, they're P1 year. P1 through P3 are your didactic classroom coursework, and you shift outside the classroom your 4th year doing your rotations.
Okay. Now, you did mention something about the undergraduate. You worked with the undergraduate program. So your campus is on the campus with the undergraduate part of the school.
Absolutely.
And if possible, students can come here to do their prerequisites or do a degree and then move over to pharmacy.
And it's great because if students are at the university, it gives them an opportunity to start develop relationships early. And so you're putting a name with a face. That's important. Relationships are important when going into higher ed or in anything in particular. And so as students are taking their prerequisite coursework, they can come over, they can consult with me. We have different workshops for students as they go through the process also. And if they need question or need help with questions regarding their applications, we're here to help.
Okay. Now, I know the application cycle for fall 2020 has already opened. Do you only accept students in the fall semester?
Well, you mentioned the application cycle opens in mid-July. Our cycle runs from mid-July through February 1st the following year. And that's going to vary by day depending on the year, but February the next year for August admissions.
Okay. And around how many students do you usually admit every year?
Well, we target between 80 and 90 students per year. That's our target. Last couple of years, we've been slightly below that. But yeah, that's typically our target. So.
Okay. Now, can you share with our listeners a little bit about your admissions process, like the GPA or PCAT score or things like that?
So there are a number of things that we look at in candidates. Not just numbers. No, I mean, numbers are important, but we try to look at you in a holistic way. And by that, we do look at your GPA. There are 3 GPAs we're going to look at. We're going to look at your overall. We're going to look at your prerequisite GPA. And then out of the prerequisite GPA, we pull the math and science courses out and determine a 3rd GPA. Minimum GPA for consideration for our program is a 2.5. However, students coming in the program are averaging at about a 3.1 or higher in the program. The PCAT, you have to take that also, that's important. We're looking for candidates in composite-wise. If you score in the 40th percentile or higher, that's competitive for the program. In addition to that, I mentioned other things we're looking at. Letters of recommendation, very important. And so we require 3 letters of recommendation, 2 from science professors and 1 from a licensed healthcare provider. It's very important that the letters that you get, or the person you get to write your letter, can write a good letter of recommendation. So I highly suggest that as you are getting your letters that you ask before, can you write me a good letter of recommendation in that case, because you probably won't see it. And we've had letters of recommendation sent to us in the past where the person did not recommend the candidate. Oh. And that's a little embarrassing. In addition to that, your personal statement is very important, because this gives you an opportunity to sell yourself. This is where you get to talk about you, any obstacles you may have had to overcome to get to this point, and where you see yourself in the healthcare profession years down the road. We want to see where you started and where you're going rather. And the interview. Finally, the interview is very important. Our interview is a half day. You'll sit with either 2 of our faculty or faculty and fourth year student in an interview process. And so all of that comes together in deciding who we decide to bring into the program.
Okay. Now, along with the application on the Farmcast website, do you guys have a supplemental application?
We do not.
Okay.
For the first, I believe, 7 years of our program, we did have a supplemental application, but we've done away with that.
Okay.
Strictly Farmcast now.
Okay. And for your prerequisites and your PCAT, does a student have to completely complete like all of their classes and take the PCAT before they can apply to your program?
Okay, so there's kind of a double-edged sword there. I tell students who are applying to pharmacy school, it's better to take the PCAT once, because one, it's expensive. And so if you're having to take it multiple times, that gets costly. So in that case, I would suggest that you complete as many of your prerequisites as possible, especially sciences. And in particular, I would highly suggest that you complete organic chemistry 1. By that time, you've probably got calculus and physics and all the others out the way. So that will give you the best opportunity to do well on the exam. I would highly suggest you complete as many prereqs before you actually take the PCAT.
Okay. And does your program here at Chicago State, are there any other research opportunities or any special programs that you offer?
So what's great about our program is we teach our pharmacy students or expose them to many different areas of pharmacy. There's over 170 different career paths in the field, and so teaching you only a few of those limits your opportunities. And so we try to give you the opportunity for research. Matter of fact, your very first semester, we're going to place you in a pharmacy in a community setting 1 day out of the week. You'll get that exposure. The next semester, we place you in a different pharmacy setting, and in subsequent semesters, the same thing. So you get a broad spectrum of what pharmacy is. Obviously, we're not going to be able to hit all 170, but it does give you somewhat exposure to different areas in pharmacy. And just to kind of go back over the research opportunities, we have a number of faculty who teach in our program who are actually scientists. And so they're doing fantastic research here in a state-of-the-art facilities. And so that gives students the opportunity, if they so choose, they can actually work with these professors to develop those skills and actually get published. And so that just makes them more marketable depending on the type of pharmacy they want to pursue.
Okay. Thank you. Now, those are all the questions that I had. Is there anything that you would like to add? Of course, our audience is strictly, pre-pharmacy students, so they may want to apply to your school.
Well, we would love for students to apply to us. We're located on the south side of Chicago, down about 10 minutes from downtown Chicago, in the city. So you have access to many of the things that go on in the city. However, your focus is pharmacy, of course. We're kind of one of the smaller schools. We value diversity here at Chicago State University. There may be programs that talk about diversity, but we live diversity here. We're ranked number 10 in the nation as far as underrepresented minorities. We have students from literally all over the world. We're the United Nations. And so not only are students learning the science aspect of it, but they're learning cultural opportunities and interacting with each other, and our faculty is the same way. So it just makes you a much more well-rounded practitioner when you finish and when you go out to practice. And so we think that that's just one of the areas, but there are many things that we'd love to sell about Chicago State. And so if anyone is interested, to please contact us here at CSU.
Thank you. I would like to thank Mr. Farabee for joining us on the show today, and I will be putting his contact information in the description. And if you would like to be a guest on our show, or you have any topic that you would like me to touch on, please email podcast@crackpcat.com. Talk to you soon.